Facebook is has a theory that the whole like hiding thing, hiding likes, Facebook and Instagram, will increase its post volume. So this kind of comes back to the previous topic in that people's behavior on social media as a consequence of the thing that I was just referencing, the idea that it's become a place where people can where people can hate or where negative emotions can prevail. By hiding likes, the idea here, and you may have experienced this now on Instagram, it's rolled out on Instagram, the idea being that people will post more because they will be subject to less scrutiny. That they won't do the comparison stuff of oh, that my friend is way more popular than me. They got way more positive feedback, more positive comments, more positive thumbs, and so forth. Why am I even going to bother posting anything? Because my likes and comments and the rest of it are either non-existent or negative. They also talked about something else where you're going to have more control over who actually follows you, even if you have a public profile, that you can kind of fine tune that a little bit more. So these social media companies on the back end, they have access to some data that we don't see on the public facing side, where they can go in there and say, oh man, these people, this is actually happening, where people are logging off because of they're having negative feelings about interacting with the platform in general. Instagram, very popular, as you know, Will. It is the most popular social media amongst teens. It has more than 1 billion monthly users, and it includes 500 million daily users of the Stories feature. Now, I think part of the reason that Stories have been so successful is the idea that they're subject to less scrutiny. They don't exist as long. The comments are less public. The sentiment is less public than a post. And people are gravitating towards publishing themselves in these places that are subject to less scrutiny. So that's the opposite kind of the mob mentality, where you're hiding 20 rows deep, like I said earlier. And instead over here, as an active participant, you feel more of the sort of real world sentiment. It has more of an impact on you as a person who's publishing, as opposed to a bystander who's just lurking and watching. Now, the reason they need people to publish more content is because that content that's published is everything their business relies on. That's what the advertisers are advertising against. And if you can't get fresh content, you can't get users to log in every day, and you can't show them ads every day. So they're trying to eliminate some of the pressure associated with posting. Now, some people are sitting here saying, brilliant, round of applause, because now I'm ready to post. I'm ready to have a good time. Forget about the network's anti-cyber bullying efforts. Forget about that. I'm ready to go back and post and not be judged on my like counter. And in many ways, the like counter, like I was saying earlier, could influence the commenting, the sentiment. Because all of a sudden you go on some Kim Kardashian post and she's got 6 billion likes. And you say to yourself, what am I? What is this morsel? I say, bam, bam, I hate you. I hate you suck. Loser. You see?
I wish I had those likes.
That's what you would.
Yeah.
But when you don't have to see that like count, even as a non-publisher, but as a publisher of a comment, you're seeing less of the metric being rubbed in your face to remind you of how insignificant you are comparatively, which I think is the beginning of it's the early speck of resentment. I think starts right there. I am the insignificant crowd member. This is the monolith. This is the celebrity. That's why I'm allowed to. So they want to change sentiment on Instagram, Facebook. I think it's really interesting, and I think it will work. I think they will have the effect that they're looking for, of having more people create content, not having to stare at those metrics and exist in that ecosystem, and instead being an active and willing participant in a more pleasant atmosphere. I think that's what they'll end up seeing. And then subsequently, they'll be able to show you more ads, sell you more things, and run a more successful business. You see how that goes, Will? I mean, in the end, that's what that's what they want to do anyways.
Yep.
So, but hey, that's a fine transaction if you feel like you get value out of it. So what happens to influencers then? Can they still sell those Instagram posts for $20 million without a like counter and the like momentum effect, which is if you see that your friend liked something and you see a high like count, you're actually more likely to also like it? Didn't know if you know that. You don't want to be the only liker. That's a weird experience. I like this. No one else does. Just me. So that could have an effect or an impact on them. Instagram has to figure that out. Maybe they're going to leave likes up for certain people. I don't know. They're going to have to experiment with that in the future. But that's the status as it sounds.